we've been going through over the last few weeks, which is really your membership site having a link, which shows up as a post like you see on the left hand side. But you see on this left hand side, this post. When you share that link, people click on it, they get to the gate or the sales page. They say, yes, I want to buy. And they authenticate through Facebook and pay either with PayPal. And actually, we also have Stripe if they want to use a credit card. And then they see the members area, which we call our main content. And optionally, or what a lot of actually, I say optionally, but most people are doing this, including a Facebook group. So that's the last step. And I'm going to go through how the system works at the end in terms of how the software works. But for now, what I'm going to focus on is just a follow up of what we covered in the last few weeks already. And I am going to cover some advanced things and recommendations. We went through everything you really need already, but I wanted to add a few more things that might actually help keep having better results. And the first one I'm going to go through and talk briefly about is branding and colors. Branding, which is colors and fonts. If you're fairly new online, it's especially more important online than even if you maybe had an offline business. Maybe you've had a gym, maybe you've done some therapy offline, or you've done horse training or dog training or any number of different things, coaching for life or for business. When it's offline, it's not, I would say it's not as critical. But when it is online, it's definitely important to have your brand on point. And that's because people can easily look you up and notice that, hey, your brand's consistent. You look like you're a serious business, and you're going to have less of a hard time acquiring their trust. So branding is especially important online. We don't want the opposite to happen, which is having them see three or four different brand identities online with different colors and fonts that don't all make sense, or it looks like you hired 10 different designers. So keeping brand consistency makes sense. And some of you already have this. If you do, just make sure to follow it with the membership that you build. Some websites that I recommend. This website allows you to really, if you really love spending a lot of time choosing the right colors, coolors.co, but they give you the ability to really put colors side by side. They also recommend different color schemes. That's one place to start. But my shortcut for you for colors is this: identify a brand out there that feels like you want things to feel, like it has that same emotion. And you can look up brand color emotions and copy it. Very few brands, even the big companies, have the colors patented. And if you're in a completely different field, I mean, if it's your competitor, I wouldn't do it. But if it's something completely different, I'll give you an example. I was helping a dog trainer recently, about a few weeks ago, and they really liked the look and feel of Twitter, the brand, the light blue color, and their grays and blacks and all that. And I said, well, if you really love it, go for it. It's already defined. Somebody already spent thousands of dollars paying a marketing agency to make sure those colors fit well. Then I would say that's my shortcut. But if you really like picking colors and spending time with that, then this website will really help you. If not, find that big brand and emulate it. And of course, Twitter and dog training, there's no conflict there. No one's going to confuse the brand. So it's totally doable. Now, for a header and body font in our software, and if you're using another system, I'm sure they have a way to do this. You can actually pick what font you want for headers and what font you want for the body of the text. And if you click on the style button or the style section of the app, you should be able to pick. I would actually make sure the body font is really legible. I know sometimes we get carried away. We want something to look cool, but I really recommend that the body font is legible. You don't want people to struggle reading your copy. Images. There's a bunch of websites now. I tend to use this website for getting royalty-free images. And I know you could easily Google images online, but honestly, I don't think it's worth the trouble when there's so many sites that give you royalty-free images. And that's the ones that, if you looked at the first slide, that's when Margot uses this site to choose the image for that first slide. So we use it all the time. Also, next item, links to your legal notices. Yeah, and a lot of people don't have them, but I think you should have them. And by law, I got to tell you to talk to a CPA to find them. There are sites that generate these online. We don't link to them because we're legally need to tell you to talk to an attorney, but it wouldn't be hard to find online if you had to. But if in our system, if you go to my apps on any one of your apps at the top and click, you'll see a list of apps that you have installed. There'll be a gear icon next to the Facebook page name. You can click on that and set the privacy. In terms, I usually tell people to create a Google Doc and link it that works for both privacy and terms. I mean, there should be two different legal documents. If you do that once, that'll follow throughout multiple memberships that you create for that same page. The next thing is disclaimers on the gate. Okay, that's on your sales page, usually right below the button, the opt-in button that says, yes, I want to buy. That's where those would go. And just some examples. It could be your refund policy. If you have like a 30-day money back guarantee, it's a good thing to be able to see right there right before they click the button, because they'll feel more warm and fuzzy if you do. If you don't, obviously don't include it. Checkout is secure. We use, if you want to mention Stripe, we do mention it right when they're about to enter their credit card. They do see secure with Stripe. So if they recognize that brand, they'll feel more warm and fuzzy. Or if you want to say check out with PayPal, that's a good place to do that. The next thing is a Pixel ID. So if you don't know what a Pixel ID is, don't worry about it. That means you're not ready for it, and don't lose sleep over it. This is one of the things that is the final step in the blueprint that I don't think you need to worry about till you're ready. But a Pixel ID is something that allows you to track page loads on Facebook. So you could actually say, hey, Facebook, I want to run an ad to anyone who's ever landed on this membership who might have not bought, or who bought, but I want to now maybe promote something else or a different higher offer or something. So this Pixel ID allows our system to generate some code to tell Facebook that, hey, so-and-so just landed on this page, track them. And whenever you can do this, and you don't have to run ads. If you really just want to do this part, insert the Pixel and don't run ads yet, you can. And then that way it's starting to build up so that when you're ready to run ads, you can use that list of people that Facebook tracked in any ad campaign. So that's one thing to keep in mind. It is optional. Like I said, if it's something completely foreign to you and you don't really think you're ready for it, don't worry about it. That's why we put an optional label on that. But it is, if you click on any apps, you click on SRM at the top and you click on tracking, there'll be a place for you to put a Pixel ID and a few other options as well, but that's the most popular one. The next is CRM. That's if you use an autoresponder. If you want to do email marketing, then you can also add this. And if you click on SRM and click on CRM, it's actually the button next to tracking. You can actually select, and we have, I think it's about 10 or 15 that we work with. But again, it's optional. You don't have to. Your group, if you're including a group with your membership, it gets pretty good open rates in terms of, or quote unquote open rates in terms of having them see what you post in the group. So it is optional. But if you are ready for it and you want to start running some ads, especially if you're going to do dripped content, which we talked about, then that may be an option. So you can drip them with an email. And these are some of the most popular ones that we've noticed our users use. I like all three of them are pretty good. We have more than those. We have Constant Contact. We have ConvertKit. We have a few options, but these are some of the more popular ones we've seen people use. ActiveCampaign seems to be my favorite so far, but it's whatever you're more comfortable with. But just wanted to give you that detail that those are the three most popular ones. So just to recap real quick today, again, remember to keep branding, colors, and fonts in mind. If you already have a brand defined, just to stick consistent with it. If you don't, there are some resources for you to start defining your brand, which I think is key. And I've done this with people in 30 minutes. So it doesn't have to be a big deal. So if you think, oh my God, I can't pay a lot of money to have somebody brand my business for me, you could literally probably do it. Give yourself 2 hours. I've done this a few times, so it took me 30 minutes. That's kind of been my record for coming up with a good brand and fonts and something for somebody. But if you're really picky, then you can spend as much time as you want here. But the point is, just get it done. Have something to start with. You could always rebrand later. Also, the legal notices, it helps to have those as well. And any disclaimers, again, the Pixel ID if you want to track ads, and also if you want to do email marketing, that's the CRM details.